From Lumsden Gymnasium on the campus of Daemen University, it's the unbeaten and second-ranked in the country Daemen Wildcats taking on the Queens College Knights in ECC action. Howard Simon along with Mike Moranto. Thank you for joining us. Now, Daemen has clinched first place in the ECC, but what they're playing for today is, well, first off, to remain unbeaten and what would likely be a number one national ranking in this week's Division II coaches poll.
Yeah, that's certainly something that's on the line in this game. If they were to win, of course, they became the last remaining undefeated team earlier this week when Washburn lost their game on Thursday night to Arkansas Fort Smith. So if Daemen's able to pick up a win here today, it stands to figure they would move into that number one ranking. Never know how people are going to vote, but I would think it's safe to say that may happen. But they got to take care of business here in this one.
And there's a lot on the line for Queens. Queens is currently fourth in the ECC, but they're only a game out of seventh. So they have nothing sewed up in terms of a conference tournament spot, whereas Daemen will host it.
Yeah, we'll get a look at the conference standings in a little bit. But, of course, Queens looking to salvage a split of their road trip up to Western New York here, a 4-point loss at Dieuville on Friday night for them.
That's Shamar Chester on the drive off to Nassau Ayala, who is fouled. You heard the starters. We'll let you know who everybody is as they get involved in offense. So our first free throws of the afternoon will come from Nassau Ayala. He is a senior guard from Left Rack City and a transfer from Tarleton State University. Queens comes into action today as that one misses off a tough 4-point loss Friday night in part one of their Western New York trip at Dieuville. Game was right there for the taking and just went cold from the field down the stretch, shot 1 of 10, the last 2-12, and unable to leave Dieuville with the victory. 1 out of 2 at the foul line. Queens 9 and 14 overall, 5 and 6 in conference play. Here's Justin Glover, man who runs the offense. Ryan Salzberg, Matt Becker, back to Glover. That's Justin Hemphill, who's second on this team in scoring. He does everything. You name a stat category, Hemphill's at or near the top. And he's their leading assist man. And you can add one to that total right there with a beautiful dish to Andrew Mason.
Get a look at it on the replay here. They run this set, get it into Hemphill in the low blocks, and then Mason does a great job not standing still on the outside. The defense kind of overplayed him. He cuts right to the basket. Hemphill's able to find him.
Mason completes the three-point play. I'll tell you, one of the funniest things I've ever heard a coach tell me, when I spoke with Matt Collier, the coach at Queens, who's been in the league for a few years, and he and Mike McDonald are good friends. We'll tell you that in a second. I should let you know who's out there for Queens. That is Demiri Lindo trying to drive. Tough shot. Good defense. Glover comes up with the ball. So Collier, I gave him, what's the scout on Daemen? What are your thoughts on playing Daemen? He said, Mike runs the same plays he's been running every single year. You know exactly what's coming on when they're on offense, and you still can't stop it. That's how good they are at executing. Hemphill saw an opening, tried to drive, stuck underneath. Glover for 3. Becker right there. Oh, he can't put it down. Going to have another shot underneath. No good. And he draws the foul. You see Becker's reaction knowing he should have had that basket. He put back off the miss.
That would have been a fun two-handed putback slam.
Congratulations to Matt Becker, by the way, who was playing in career game number 100 today. Most of those came at St. Anselm, where he played his first 4 years, has come here as a grad student, and has just been a great addition to what was a great team anyway, and just made them even better.
He's a guy that's not eye-popping numbers by any stretch of the imagination, but he does so many of the little things well that you need to do. And as you might expect, a guy that really thinks the game, coach's son, so I think you might expect a coach's son to play that way. And he does that to a T for this Wildcats team.
Now, he was the starting point guard at St. Anselm, so he doesn't have to do that here, but he has that knowledge, that ability to have a handle on an offensive game plan. Here's a rebound for Hemphill. Justin leads the team in rebounds. They go to Mason. I tell you, early on, Queens is getting in some foul trouble.
Yeah, 3 possessions, 3 fouls.
So that foul is on Shamar Chester. And Andrew Mason will go to the free throw line. Andrew having a terrific season, grad student from the Rochester area, leading this team in 3-point field goals made. And there's his first free throw. Coming in for Queens, Jaden Seraphin, number 2, senior from Lakeview, New York. He's had a handful of starts this year. Not one player on this roster has started every game this season for Queens, but they're very deep. 10 guys are averaging 13 or more minutes. So Matt Collier has a lot of options, and his bench has been able to contribute and help them along the way.
Should mention that Seraphin comes in for Chester, who picked up the personal there. It's his second, so 2 early personals on Chester, who's a real experienced guard for this Knights team.
Nice drive and baseline jumper for Demiri Lindo. Makes it 7-3. Daemen 22-0 on the season. 13-0 in the ECC, 11-0 here at Lumsden Gym. Oh, wide open is Becker, just a breakdown defensively.
What a play by Hemphill. Finds Becker inside all alone for the slam. That makes up for the one he missed earlier, right?
9-3 Wildcats.
The degree of difficulty on that last one, not quite as big as the follow dunk that he tried a couple minutes ago.
Lindo, the kick out, long range 3 is good from the far side. And that is Nesa Ayala. Makes it a 3-point game. Ayala leads this team in scoring this season, averaging 12 a game.
Yeah, very balanced scoring for Queens. 4 double-figure scores, all between 10 and 12 points a game.
Hemphill to Glover. Add to Justin's assist total. He is one of the more unselfish guys you'll see play the game of basketball.
That's when Daemen is at their best. When he's got the ball like below the free throw line and has the ability to create open shots for other guys. Great vision.
He is their starting center, and he leads them in assists. Good, strong drive by Ayala for 2. Mentioned Queens coming in off that loss to Deauville. Had 3 guys in double figures. Chester is out with the foul trouble. He actually led him with 14 points. Lindo had 13, and Jade C., who's out there, had 11. They would love to split their Western New York trip. More important, they'd love to be the first team to beat Daemen. Mason stepped on the end line. That'll take us to our first media timeout of the afternoon. Daemen leads Queens 12-8. Welcome back to Daemen University. Howard Simon and Mike Maranta with you on a snowy Sunday here in Western New York. Also unbeaten, winter in Western New York.
You can say that again.
I think we've had at least a trace of precipitation every day so far this year. It's 40-something straight days, 31, and somebody do the math. 31 and what's today? 16?
Yeah.
47 straight days with some precipitation. Woohoo! Hooray for us. Spin move.
And Punxsutawney Phil did us no favors once again.
Can't wait. That jumper didn't fall for Seraphin. Here go the Wildcats back on offense. Glover will launch the 3. It is not going to dance in for him, and a rebounding foul underneath is going to go on Daemen, possibly Hemphill, since he's questioning it. Substitutions from Mike McDonald. First 2 guys typically off the bench are coming in. That would be Big Benjamin Bill, number 44, the redshirt sophomore from Hamburg, and number 20, Zach Philipkuski, the sophomore from New Hartford, New York.
Hemphill's second personal there, so something to pay attention to on the Daemen side when it comes to a little bit of foul trouble.
C on the drive. Becker got a piece of it to disrupt it. C recovered. Philipkuski with the rebound. Omari Bird in the game for Queens, number 5, junior from Ypsilanti, Michigan. Philipkuski, third leading scorer on the team, off the bench. The leading scorer is right there, Benjamin Bill. Off the bench, leading this team in scoring. Philipkuski, good job fronting the big man by Ayala, and he comes up with the strip. Going all the way, and he's fouled by Filipkowski. Zach thought he had all ball. Referee will have the final say.
I think just needed to be a little bit more patient at the other end there because they had Ayala switched on to Ben Bill. He was fighting around. We said it, did a good job getting to the front side.
Ayala missed that first game against Daemen with a tailbone injury. But good to go here today as he hits the first free throw. 1,000-point scorer in his high school career at Victory Christian Center downstate. 2 out of 2, 2-point game. Knights putting on some press. Daemen, a very good ball handling team. Almost jinxed him. Mason. Becker. Well, Queens gets their hands in the passing lane. That was a nice job by Ayala to knock that one away. C almost turned it over. He did. Glover. Filipkowski for 3. Rebound corralled by C. Three in the air from C is all net.
Yeah, they missed a moving screen on the top of the key there. Omari Bird, he really moved, and that prevented Mason from getting to the shooter.
Bill gets free underneath. Easy layup for Benjamin Bill. He's averaging 16 points a game, but guess what? The best stat is he shoots 71% from the field. Now look, when a lot of the shots are where they are just now, that helps.
He does such a good job of getting that low position and then catching the ball in spots where he almost never has to dribble.
He's leading the country in field goal percentage. 7 on the shot clock. And stepping on the sideline out of bounds is Queens. And that's going to go against Seraphin. You got clout in this league, right? Do me a favor. Get a hold of the people in charge of the ECC and let them know the broadcasters would like Queens to change their road uniforms because you can't see the numbers.
Yeah, these are tough numbers to see for sure.
I need something a little sharper, a little tough to the dark uniform with the dark number and a shade of red.
The red outline, yeah.
It's tough. So I apologize if I get some numbers wrong today. Glover with the floater, and he's fouled. Justin Glover with the touch and a possible 3-point play.
Count it for Glover. Swing the ball to him. He get just that little gap, the floater, and then Bird steps into him.
Justin, one of the captains on this team. I'd say he's having an outstanding season, but who isn't on the Daemen roster? Justin's a local product and played his high school ball at St. Joe's Collegiate Institute, averaging 9 points this season for the Wildcats, and always does a good job running the offense. Around and out, stays a 3-point game. That's Tyler Mitchell in the game, number 13 for Queens. Freshman getting some playing time here. Seraphin handed off to Ayala. Poked away momentarily by Glover. 7 on the shot clock. Ayala with a right-handed shot, no good. Rebound, tap backwards, but to Becker. Big man running the court. Nice little touch to Glover. Mason, off of Glover's foot. Matt Collier is stomping the floor over at the Queens bench. He's annoyed about something. A whistle and a foul called on his night squad. And that's going to take us to our under 12 media timeout. Daemen 16, Queens 13. Good game here in the first half. Daemen trying to stay unbeaten on the season. I've already wrapped up the regular season title. First one since the 2018-19 season. Third regular season title all time for Daemen in their relatively brief history in the ECC. It's going to be Matt Becker putting things in play. A little confusion there for Queens defensively. Now they're lined up. Not a bad idea to get it into Bill, but he gets called for shuffling the feet. On an inbounds, always good to have a guy who is 6'10".
Queens switched to a little zone there on the inbounds play and caused a little bit of confusion there, I think.
Let's see with it. Among the things Daemen does well this season, they play defense. That jump shot, Jaden Pena had to get it over Bill.
Case in point right there. A great contested shot by Bill.
Philip Kuski charging. A little offensive foul, not charge, but an offensive foul.
Yeah, they get him using that off arm. My argument on that one is he wouldn't have to use the off arm if he wasn't being ridden by the defense.
Ryan Heath checks in for his first action of the afternoon for Daemen, number 2, sophomore from Rochester.
And that's second personal now on Philip Kuski. So 2 of Daemen's top 3 scorers dealing with a little bit of foul trouble here in the early going. Philip Kuski remains on the court.
And Justin Hemphill was the other player that Mike's referring to, and out pretty quickly with 2 fouls. Say, off the dribble. Rebound, Philip Kuski's got it, and he is grabbed and fouled by Pena. So Daemen will take over possession. Queens College is located, I had to double check with Mike on this one, in Flushing, New York, which is famous for one thing. It is the home of the New York Mets. I mean, it might be famous for other things, Mike. I'm just saying.
Well,
I know
how about the Billie Jean King National Tennis
Okay,
Center?
yeah, the U.S. Open's played next door.
Site of the World's Fair.
Yeah. Okay, fine. And I think they're putting they're putting a soccer stadium there next to Citi Field for. I don't know, it's for Red Bull or whoever, but I think they're building like an entertainment complex and a soccer field. So you're right, the U.S. Open tennis tournament is played in Queens, right next to Citi Field. And the World's Fair was there in 1964. In fact, there's still some buildings left from the World's Fair that you can see to this day.
Way back in the day, this has got to be 2010-ish maybe 2011. I worked the Maloof Money Cup was on that World's Fairgrounds. It was like a huge skateboarding competition.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a story I didn't know.
Yeah. It's.
Well, have you ever seen the movie Men in Black? At the end, when the alien's trying to get on the ship, those 2 towers?
Yes.
Those are from the 1964 World's Fair.
Right.
Those are legit still there in Queens, if you've seen that movie. All right, that's enough of our history lesson for today. 17-13, Daemen with the lead, Queens with the ball. Eric Tynes in the game. Foul line jumper, got it. Junior from Springfield, Mass gets his first points of the afternoon. 2-point game.
Navraj Sandhu from Queens let us know that soccer stadium is going to be for NYCFC.
Thank you very much, Navraj. I appreciate it. He did a great job helping me out, prepping for the games against Queens, sending me some rosters, got me in touch with the 2 coaches. So my thanks always, I never do that. I should always thank the respective athletic communications departments for all their help, because without them, I'd sound worse than I normally do sound. Hemphill playing with the 2 fouls, so he's got to be careful. Bill with it. 7 on the clock. Philip Kuski hits the 3, no problem for Daemen.
Yeah, just a nice little 2-man game late in the shot clock there. They try and go underneath, and Philip Kuski makes them pay.
And get it back out for Tynes. Trying to get free. Turnaround jumper, got it. So Tynes, 2 quick baskets off the bench. Tynes averages 5.5 points a game. He's almost at his season average. Hemphill doubled. Good trap, good pressure, and a steal. Headed down court and laying it up and in is Jaden Seraphin, and the Knights are within 1. Now I will put this into context. This normally isn't the case with Daemen games in the ECC. They've been very good at, as Hemphill banks it, they've been very good at establishing big leads early and running away with things.
Oh, you can tell Queens obviously playing very hard. Not intimidated, it doesn't look like.
Nope, not at all. Well, remember, Queens, they beat Daemen down in Queens last year. There's a block by Bill without getting a foul call. That was pretty good. Heath feeds Bill, and oh, what a block from behind. That looked like an easy layup. Good hustle back defensively for Condi with the block. So Queens won at home last year, and they won here 2 years ago. So and they played them tough in the ECC tournament last year in the first round, won here by Daemen. So they've got a little history of giving Daemen fits. Good blocks on both ends in that last sequence. Heath open for three. Doesn't go. Rebound Condi. Omar Condi, number 33 from Harlem, New York. Getting the defensive board there. Good feed over to Condi. And he's blocked it by Bill. And then a foul on Queens by Benjamin Bill. That's another thing that he does really well. He's just a blocking machine.
Yeah, he does such a good job protecting the rim for the Wildcats. Part of the big reason why they lead the country in field goal percentage defense. 8th team foul here on the Knights. So Benjamin Bill to the line for a 1-on-1.
Bill leads this team in blocks, and that's got him up over 40 on the season.
Very physical game. I mean, it started right from the start.
Got like a tournament feel to it.
A lot of whistles.
Yep.
and not a ton of flow to the game.
You almost wonder if the officials are kind of setting the tone. We'll let you play, but we don't want it to get out of control, so we're going to call it a little tight to begin with. We'll see what happens. 2 for 2 at the line for Mr. Bill, who I would assume we'll hear his name called out when they announce the ECC first, second, and third team honors next month. You get a whole bunch of guys from this Daemen team. You could certainly make a case for all the starters. And Bill and Philip Koski in their reserves. Nice strong drive by Lindo. He gets the basket. He draws the foul. And that'll take us to our media timeout at under 8. Got ourselves a heck of a first half here in Western New York. Queens trails by 3. They'll be at the foul line when we get back on the ECC.
Get a look at the league standings here. You can see Daemen, as we mentioned earlier, that win Friday night against Malloy clinched the regular season championship for the Wildcats at 13-0 in league play. Stack pretty firmly entrenched there at number 2. Roberts a game ahead at 3rd, and then you mentioned it, Howard, the 4, 5, 6, the 2 teams tied for 6, and then even down to Malloy tied for at 8th is bunched up.
Malloy is here in Western New York. They're playing DUville today while this game's going on here at Daemen. Coach Collier was joking that whoever handles all the tiebreaker rules for the conference might be kind of busy when it comes to seeding and spots in the tournament. Nice step through by Philip Koski. Heath with the floater. Bill with the putback, and it goes in on the second try. So offensive rebound work there for Benjamin Bill, and the lead is up to 4. Yeah, Queens, they're in 4th, and you got teams right behind you, Staten Island, DUville, and you mentioned Malloy, and so the work is certainly still cut out for the Knights to try and make it into the conference tournament. Lindo. 5 on the shot clock. Baseline jumper a little short, and the rebound comes down to the Wildcats. Philip Koski looking around. He's going to take it himself. And another tip and a putback for Bill.
Guess who?
Yeah. The guy he's listed at 6'10", 240. He runs the floor really well for a big guy.
He moves well, for sure. And that's the thing, on some of those transition plays like that Philip Koski, all you got to do is get the ball up on the rim. If you make it, great, but if not, he's coming from behind to tip it in.
And that's a credit to Bill. Mike McDonald was talking about how Bill he redshirted last year, and he really worked on his body and got himself into much better shape this season. He averages over 20 minutes a game off the bench, but for a guy that size to be that quick up and down the court, that's impressive. He tries the pass on the diagonal back to Philip Koski. 6-point Daemen advantage. Philip Koski has space and hits the 3.
Remember what you were saying earlier about Daemen running the same plays over and over? Mm-hmm. Matt Collier knew exactly what was coming right there. He's losing his mind after that shot goes in. and send a sub to the scorer's table quickly.
Ryan Heath will get called for that foul. Mr. McDonald on the Daemen bench, not happy. Little ire directed towards the men in the striped shirts. It was great to hear Coach Collier talk about the friendship he and Mike McDonald have developed over their years coaching against. He said, look, I'm trying to compete against the guy, but I'm really happy to see the success he's had because, and I think you probably hear that a lot around the league, Mr. Morancho, that you talk to other coaches in this league, and every time you talk to them about Daemen, one of the first things they'll say is, Mike's a great guy.
Well, that's not just coaches in the league. That's anybody you talk to about
true.
Mike
that's
McDonald.
Right. Yep. And Coach Collier went out of his way to say it's not just Mike. It says he runs a great program. He's got great kids, very respectful. He talked about how the Daemen players always come up to him and they say hi and they want to have a conversation. It's not just the obligatory, hey, coach, shake your hand and move on.
Right.
And so, yeah, he had just real nice things. It's good to see that mutual admiration, if you will. Even though you want to beat the pants off the other guy, 7-point Daemen lead. Becker backing in. 5 on the shot clock. Bill comes to set the screen. Glover, 3. Got it. Late in the shot clock, not a problem.
Well, and that's the second time they've made a 3 late in the shot clock, but it's Benjamin Bill setting an on-ball screen. Underrated thing that he does is, we could talk all we want about how much he scores and rebounds and all that. How about him as a screener here in the first half?
Plus, you got the smallest guy on the court behind him, Glover, who can hide behind the big guy. There's a defensive rebound for Bill. Glover quickly up court. Back pass for Mason. Becker trying to get the edge. Finds Bill underneath, and he's fouled from behind. Again, the passing, the quick ball movement.
Yep.
The ball moves quicker than the players do, and Daemen does that really well.
And here we go, Howard, because Queens was keeping this thing close for the majority of the first half. You look up at the scoreboard, it's a 10-point lead with a chance to go to 12 here at the line. This is kind of what Daemen does. They've been doing it all year.
Yeah, it was kind of a 3-4 point game there for a while.
And they forced 3-4 stops in a row, turn those into baskets at the other end. The next thing you know, you look up at the scoreboard and you're down by double figures.
It's an 11-2 run now over the last 3 minutes for Daemen. They convert at the free throw line. We'll see if Queens has an answer here. Yeah, now the lead is the largest of the afternoon. If you're Queens, you've still got 4+ minutes left. You'd like to get this down to single digits. Worst case scenario at halftime.
Daemen going to a little 2-3 zone here.
And Queens looks a little confused as they try and adjust against the zone. 3 launched and hit by Chester. He's their best 3-point shooter. Shamar Chester makes it a 9-point game.
Got Daemen a little bit overextended on that side close to the Wildcats bench and then had a little bit of an overload. Phil Ungwo was having to deal with 2 players. He just didn't come out as aggressively on Chester as he needed to there.
Chester's a homegrown product. He is a senior from Queens. Mason, they've done a good job of getting out on Mason, not giving him space to try and get a 3 off. Left-handed shot does not fall for Bill. Nicely done on the rebound by Amari Cribb. Queens runs the other way. Shot no good from Ayala. Speaking of running the floor, Phil Ungwo all the way for a layup.
Boy, how smooth was that?
Phil, a redshirt sophomore, another one of the key guys off the bench for Mike McDonald. Doesn't get a lot of playing time, but he's very productive when he's on the court. Baseline is cut off, ball out of bounds, last touch by the Wildcats. And we'll have a media timeout with 3:13 to go in the first half. Daemen has opened up an 11-point lead over Queens College. It's pretty good. You got that wrapped up pretty quick, that graphic there. They only won an hour ago.
Well, that's, Max and Mary Margaret in our communications office. They are on top of things.
Easy layup there for Jaden Seraphin. You're like the person who walks around on the court like moments after someone clinches a title and they're handing out the shirts and the hats. That's really well done. So yes, the ladies will get to host the East Coast tournament here, the semifinals and the finals. Becker with the miss, gets the rebound. Mason, his three is good. Andrew Mason climbing up the charts, all-time threes. He is now 4th all-time with 306 made threes. Pass down low, Ungo trying to defend it. Here's the kick out, 3 in the air. Rebound, Matt Becker. One of the many things Becker does, as Mike pointed out, his stats aren't eye-popping, but he can score, he can certainly handle the ball, and he gets assists and he gets rebounds. Ungo with the basket.
As a guy with 2 9-year-olds that are just starting to get into basketball a little bit, if you can keep your dribble alive while you're being closely guarded, I mean, it goes without saying. There's a nice drive and score there.
Tyler Mitchell will get the free throw to follow the basket.
But obviously these guys can do that, right? That's why they play in college. But when you're trying to teach 2 9-year-olds, that's like the biggest skill that you can have. When you're being closely guarded, don't just pick up your dribble. Switch to another hand. That's what Becker did so well on that last play. Again, going back to him, just fundamentally sound as a basketball player.
I just want to mention that your kids are 9. I'm just saying this.
It was happy birthday, boys.
It was
their birthday yesterday. One of them's over here to our left, and the other one's home with a little bit of a fever today. So,
did you save any birthday cake?
We did save some birthday cake.
You didn't bring it though.
Becker
with the reverse layup. Interesting. I mean, Becker has got to love life right now. He came from a really good program. He came from St. Anselm, which is one of the better programs in the Northeastern Division II. And he comes here and he's on an undefeated team. Ooh, yeah, I think that last elbow and then Becker going down created that whistle there for the offensive foul. So Pena gets called on that, and that's his 3rd foul. So that comes with 1:31 to go in the first half. And Daemen now will come up court with a 13-point advantage. This was a 2-point game, 24-22. So it's a 21-10 stretch here for the Wildcats. Mason gets his man in the air, buries another 3. Andrew Mason will leave as one of the greatest 3-point shooters, not only in the history of Daemen, in the history of the conference.
He's like one of the guys. Every time he lets it go, you just feel like it's going in. And it's been that way for the better part of 5 years now.
Well, you would have been right, 307 times.
Yeah.
Jade C with the drive to the basket, under a minute to go. Daemen leading by 14. Glover's going to take his time coming up court. So a very strong second half of the first half. Becker, baseline jumper. Here go the Knights. And that it will be a whistle and a foul, which will send Ayala to the free throw line. Second foul on Ryan Salzberg. Thinking back to that first meeting on January 12th. Queens trailed by 12 at halftime there. And they're down. They might be down 12 at halftime here. Shot the ball really well. This is why Daemen's frustrating. Queens in that game shot over 60% from the field in the first half, and they trailed by 12.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Daemen also shot over 60% from the field. Timeout called by Matt Collier. 30-second timeout. And we'll take a quick break. Good crowd here at Lumsden Gymnasium this afternoon, hoping to see, well, if they're Daemen fans, hoping to see their team extend their home court win streak to 19 straight, dating back to last season. Shot clock off.
Yeah, didn't know what we would get here in terms of crowd.
Yeah, not the best driving
with the weather out there, but
Could have used that Mike Marento limousine service today.
Yes. Well, I was here working. Sorry.
Becker pulls up, and the jumper will not drop. Only 3 seconds left. We'll see if the Knights get a shot off. Becker cuts him off, and they will not get that shot. Becker using his presence to keep Ayala from launching the basketball. Well, a month ago, Daemen led by 12 at Queens. Daemen leads by 12 here in Western New York. We'll take a short break and be back in about 15 minutes with second half action between Daemen and Queens right here on the ECC Network. Take a look at some numbers from the first half. Daemen shooting well. Not surprising. They shoot over 50% from the field on the season. Actually, Queens shooting a little above their season average. That's got to make Coach Collier feel good. Good from three-pointers. Rebounding a big problem for Queens in that first half.
Yeah, Daemen shooting well, not a surprise. How about Daemen rebounding well? Also not a surprise. Wildcats a plus 10 rebounding at advantage per game coming in. One of the best rebounding teams in the country. Only 8 rebounds for Queens, none at the offensive end. 7 offensive rebounds out of their 21 for Daemen. That's a 9-0 advantage in second chance points as well. We saw Ben Bill, a couple of those tip-ins, and Daemen did enough defensively there, from about the under 8-minute mark, 3-4 stops in a row, followed by 3-4 scores in a row, extend out what was like a 2-point lead.
Yeah, 2-point game, 24-22.
Yeah, got it up to as many as 16. Queens was able to do a couple things, battle back, get it within 12 here at the half, but they'll have an uphill climb in the second.
That offensive rebounding stat's amazing. 0. So there were 14 missed shots by Queens in the first half. Daemen had 14 defensive rebounds.
Yep.
So 14, you can't beat 14 for 14.
Right.
I actually can't believe I paused to do the math, because if they have no offensive rebounds and there were 14 missed shots. Anyway, right underway we go, and quickly a foul as Justin Hemphill was driving to the basket. And that's going to go on Demiri Lindo.
Did not see a lot of Hemphill. He picked up those 2 early fouls. He had some really nice plays in the first 4 minutes of the game, and then did come back in, but maybe wasn't as aggressive as we normally see him be as he was dealing with those fouls.
Glover's 3. Yeah, Hemphill played 10 minutes in the first half. The rest of the starters played 14. Ryan Salzberg with a little punch out there. Ball will stay with Queens. We'll let you know who's on the court. Number 1, we'll put it in play. That's Jade C., their junior point guard. 12, Shamar Chester is out there. 33 is Omar Kandi. And we see Mesa Ayala out there. 0 for them as well. Good strong drive to the basket. And the bucket by Shamar Chester.
That's
and
Lindo's guy. Chester was limited to only 5 minutes in the first half because of some foul trouble.
Oh, pressure here, not intense. Now nice trap, but Salzburg able to get it to Andrew Mason. So Ryan Salzburg right there, number 11. 28, Andrew Mason. 5, Justin Glover. 23, Justin Hemphill. And number 3, Matt Becker. Starting 5 for Mike McDonald. Becker had his typical all-around solid half in the first half. That one's missed by Salzburg. Becker 6 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal. Just does a little bit of everything. Stepping on the sideline is Ayala. Turn the ball back over to Daemen. Ayala led all scorers in the game actually in the first half. 12 points for him. For Daemen it was Mason and Benjamin Bill off the bench with 11 points each. I think you're caught up on stats. If you're just joining us, we'll remind you that Daemen has already clinched first place in the ECC, but it's not like they have nothing to play for as Becker swishes that jumper. They would like to run the table. Only once in the history of this conference has a team run the conference table. That was LIU Post some 15, 16 years ago. And Daemen would love to do that. If they win today, they'll go to 14-0 in league play. There's a whistle and a foul on Glover, with games against D'Youville and Roberts Wesleyan remaining. First foul on Glover. And Queens will put the ball in play from underneath the basket. Queens, in the meantime, are in the middle of a crazy race for the final 4 spots in the conference tournament. Daemen's in. Stack's pretty comfortably locked, going to be that 2 seed. So 3, 4, 5, 6 up for grabs, and Queens right now in 4th, but a lot of teams, one in front of them, but a whole bunch behind them knocking on the door. Becker to Hemphill, right to the basket for the layup. We talked about sharing the ball and the vision, and everybody who plays on this team is unselfish when it comes to passing. But they're also very good, the cutters. They're very good at executing the offense and cutting and finding themselves in space where then a teammate can get them a ball. Lindo with it. Slips on the drive, and they're going to call a foul on that drive as well. That's going to go on Matt Becker. And Condi will go out. Omari Bird will check back in for the Knights. Queens been a good defensive team all season. If there is an issue where they need some improvements, it is the shooting of the basketball. And talked to Coach Collier. I said, what would you like to see the team do better? And he basically laughed and said, put the ball in the basket. Yeah. That's the name of the game. Score points. They only shoot about 40% from the field as a team. Lindo stops in the lane. Bird with a little turnaround. No good. Rebound corralled by Becker. And he made a really good point, Mike, and this is what Daemen's all about. Coach Collier said, if historically you look at it, the best teams in the ECC are balanced. They don't lean heavily on defense or heavily on offense. They do both really well. And if you don't, it's really hard to be at the top of the league. And this is a very good defensive Queens team. They just need to improve a little bit offensively. Sure. Hemphill stripped on his drive. Nope, they'll call a tie-up situation. I believe the arrow will go to Queens. See one of the workers here bringing in a pizza. Is that for us?
Oh, I wish.
Oh, it's for a fan, huh?
Yeah, we're going to have a shooting contest here the next timeout.
Can you do something else? Because I don't have a good shot. Could you have a talking contest?
Sure.
That'd be great.
How about just the 2 baldest guys in the...
Hey! You got me beat. Your head's completely shaved. I've just got some grays hanging around. Queens down 14. Got to get some offense going. Try and get a run together here in the second half. A little running hook. No good. Rebound knocked around and stripped from Chester. Nice play by Becker. Salzburg in trouble. Dishes to Mason, and he's knocked down by Lindo.
This has not been the most aesthetically
not artistic,
pleasing
4
4 minutes of basketball.
A little sluggish first part of the second half. That foul on Lindo is his 4th, so he's got to head over to the Queens bench. So he's got 4, and Pena was limited in the first half. He came off the bench, but he ended up getting 3. Mason for Glover. Becker. Needing some help. It had to be 3 seconds, yeah. I think it was more like 5 seconds, but whatever, the point was made. That'll take us to the under-16 media timeout with Daemen leading Queens 52-38. Welcome back here to Daemen University. Wildcats up 14. Daemen coming into play today, 22-0, and ranked second in Division II in the coaches poll. They're number 3 in the sports communicators poll. But the number 1 team in the country, previously unbeaten Washburn, lost last Thursday night. So when the coaches poll for Division II comes out on Tuesday, one might expect the last remaining unbeaten team in the country to move up 1 spot. And that would put Daemen at the top of the national ranking for the first time in program history.
And would be the first East Coast Conference team to do so since Adelphi.
More than 20 years ago.
Back in early 2000s, yeah.
Queens back running on offense here. C to the basket will get fouled. Now I will point out, I got to double check it, but I don't think the Bona team of Lanier, that Final Four team, was ever number 1 in the poll. So I don't think any of the Division I teams have ever been number 1. But I will again point out There was a number 1 ranked team in Buffalo at one point. That would be the Buffalo State Bengals. So we're number 1 in Division III my junior year in 1982-83. It was pretty cool, I got to tell you. I mean, I think it'll be exciting if Daemen is indeed number 1 come Tuesday. I mean, it's just cool knowing the school you're at is number 1 in the country. I don't care what level of play you're at. That's awesome. 12-point lead. Hemphill sees the trap coming, drives, almost a turnover there. Benjamin Bill's got it. That pass from Glover knocked right back to him. Almost too unselfish there. I thought Bill might try and put that shot up. Instead, he passed it to Hemphill under the basket. Whistle and a hold. Bill fighting for position underneath with Omari Bird, and they're going to get Bird with that foul. That's his third. So Queens getting into some foul issues here. Now, they're deep. Coach Collier plays 10 guys pretty regularly. But you don't like to have anybody in foul trouble, especially if you're trailing by 12 and trying to catch the second-ranked team in the country. Zach Filipkuski in the game, number 20. There he is. Third leading scorer on the season for the Wildcats. His pass picked off. Tried to go baseline, and C picked it off. Lovely bounce pass. They can't finish, but they'll draw a foul. And Ayala will go to the free throw line. And Matt Becker, nope, not on Becker. It is Becker, I'm sorry, it is his second. I do tend to look for the person who's complaining the loudest, and it did appear to be Becker. Mike McDonald not happy with that call. So at the foul line for a couple of free throws here. Swishes the first one is Mesa Ayala, senior guard, who leads the team in scoring, 12 points a game this season. Second on the team in rebounds. 2 for 2 at the line. Down to 10. If Queens is, you just kind of chip your way back into this one. Got to get some defensive stops and hope you convert on the other end. But defensively, Queens is playing well in this half. That one's knocked away, out of bounds, last touch by Queens. But again,
they're active defensively here. They're getting some deflections and making life difficult on Daemen. Wildcats, 4 or 5 turnovers here at the start of the second half.
And Daemen only has 4 points in almost 5.5 minutes. There's a tie-up. The arrow will favor Daemen. A loud round of applause coming from Coach Matt Collier. And he should be happy with what he's seeing defensively.
Yeah, he's happy with the defensive effort for sure.
And on the inbounds, Hemphill is fouled.
And they do all that work for like 25 seconds defensively. They get a tie-up, and then they just forget to guard a guy right underneath the hoop on the inbounds play. That's a tough break there.
Yeah, it's too easy on the inbounds. So Justin Hemphill will go to the free throw line. Justin having a terrific season. Second in scoring, leads in rebounds, leads in assists, leads in steals. And he's going to be one of a handful of guys that Mike McDonald will nominate for all ECC honors. Daemen with just 2 made field goals in 5.5 minutes. 2 free throws. Does add to the lead, though. It's a dozen. And, you consider Daemen pretty high-scoring offense. Have just 2 field goals in 5.5 minutes is a testament to the defense they're facing from Queens. Eric Tynes, jumper, no good. Hemphill grabs it. Becker on the baseline. Out top Glover. Filipkuski's 3 in the air. Good. Ball movement leads to a 3 from Zach Filipkuski.
Yep, inside, outside, around the horn. Queens actually, they made a pretty good contest there, despite the ball movement, but it just didn't matter. Filipkuski knocks it down.
In the lane. That will not drop down for Ayala. Daemen now up to 13 assists in this game. Just to get to the point of sharing the basketball. Block there for the Knights. Daemen bench was looking for a foul. Three-pointer from Chester was offline. Just white jerseys there. Hemphill comes out of the pack. And he will knock it out of bounds, throw it off the legs of the Queens player. Not a bad idea. He was trapped, and there was the third guy in the neighborhood, and he was stuck on the sideline. Andrew Mason checks back in for Daemen. Ryan Heath and Ryan Salzberg come in as well. Wildcats have a 15-point lead with 13:11 to go in the second half. If Daemen wins today, they will up their record to 14-0 in conference play. And remember, this is a team that hasn't been challenged a lot in conference play. You know, they've been winning games by blowouts.
Going down the stretch here, they have not been in a lot of close games, especially in conference play.
Their average margin of victory in conference games is 26 points. Bill, they'll wipe the bucket. Benjamin Bill was inside fighting for position, and before the shot, they will whistle a foul on Queens and Jaden Pena, and that would be his fourth.
Yeah, Mike McDonald's got to be careful here. He's going to get teed up. He wanted that basket to count.
Yeah, I believe he's making those thoughts known.
They've been so physical with Benjamin Bill the whole game. I mean, it's clearly part of their defensive game plan, and he's drawing fouls, no question.
Bill gets it inside, can't get it to go. Fights for the rebound, and he's fouled again. But you know, how else would you got to play him physical.
For sure.
You almost have to say, okay, we're going to go through 2-3 guys. I don't care how many fouls you get. We're just going to keep putting guys in there and be as physical as you can. How else do you stop him? And Daemen going to feed it inside again. Bounce pass backwards, goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Knights. Bill was trying to find the cutter, Philip Kuski there. Salzberg inbound. Nice little touch pass to Salzberg from Bill. 5 on the shot clock. Right-handed shot, no good. The rebound, last touch by Philip Kuski. So Queens will get the ball back. You know, to Mike's point about not really being challenged in conference games, they've won every game by double digits.
Yeah.
The, quote, closest game was an 11-point win at St. Thomas Aquinas College.
That win about a week and a half ago. Now, that was one of the grittiest road wins I've seen this team have. They fell behind 20-9, which is something that they really haven't done all year. And then they come back and still win by 11.
In a tough place to play.
In a super tough place to play.
Now you look at some of the numbers. This team has played 22 games. They've trailed at halftime only 3 times. Obviously, they've come back to win all 3 games, but that's pretty good. You've led at half 19 times. The big man underneath, Benjamin Bill, gets position, and that time cannot be stopped. 59-42. Bill is in double digits. He's up to 13 now. Mitchell with it. Chester open for 3. Got it. Shamar Chester answers back with a 3-point field goal. Best 3-point shooter on the team. Makes it a 14-point game. There's a whistle and a foul in the backcourt. And that's going to take us to a media timeout with 11:15 to go. Here in the second half, Daemen leading Queens 59-45. There you see the score. Daemen up 14 with 11:15 to go in the second half here at Daemen University. Howard Simon and Mike Moranto, thank you for joining us. Daemen trying to sweep the season series. They won at Queens middle of last month, 99-67. This game, a lot closer, obviously. Zach Philip Kuski will be at the free throw line. Zach, sophomore, having a terrific season, coming off the bench, a guy that he and Benjamin Bill both could start for most of the teams in this league, maybe all of them. But just this is a stacked roster, and they come off the bench, and that's part of the unselfishness of this group. Nobody's complaining, hey, coach, why am I not starting? They all know their roles, and these guys, Philip Kuski and Benjamin Bill, they get the same amount of minutes as starters do. because playing time is spread around. Look at that tip by Benjamin Bill. He's smiling going back up court.
That's at least the third tip-in he's had today. To 15 now in the game.
Knights trying to cut into that. Three-pointer doesn't go, but Heath came out and fouled Chester on the shot. And that's one of the things with Daemen. It just, you look up and you just think, 17, it just, where, like you said, you made that point in the first half. I mean, this was a 2-point game. But sometimes it's just a big run and it snowballs. Other times they just gradually just add. It's like our winter. An inch of snow, and then the next day an inch, and the next day 2 inches, and before you know it, you got all this snow piled up.
Yeah. It's a 17-point lead right now, so seemingly comfortably ahead, right?
They feel like they're in control, but yeah.
It feels slightly vulnerable,
yes,
though, because
right.
of how hard Queens is playing.
Yes. They've dug in defensively. I'm just even looking at, this goes to, I think, the point about turnovers, not to bombard people with too many numbers, but if you look at shot attempts, Daemen had 29 in the first half, so 29 shot attempts, that's over a shot a minute, 29 in 20 minutes. They've only attempted 10 field goals in 9.5 minutes here, make it 10. So they're turning the ball over, or they're getting blocked. I mean, they're just not getting shots.
Part of that it also is the way the game is being officiated.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
no flow.
We're not even 10 minutes into the half, and there's 12 fouls combined. Yeah. Teams are getting to the free throw line.
Daemen only 5 made field goals this half. Queens only 2. How about that? And that's part of the reason why the lead is up at 15, but it's not a blowout, even though Queens is shooting just 2 of 9 from the field this half. I feel like if you're up double digits at the half, you can tell the other team's 2 of 9 in the first 10 minutes of the second half, the game's over.
Right.
This is not over. Ryan Heath loses the handle. Fortunate for him, it rolled to Salzburg. Heath trying to get it to Bill. It's cut off, but it goes to Salzburg. Can't hit the shot. And last touch by Philip Kuski. It'll be Queens ball. Substitutions on both sides. You look at Queens, we mentioned the standings. They're sitting in a tournament spot right now at 5 and 6. They're in 4th. They'll have 4 games left in conference play after today. They will have Mercy at home, Stack at home, and then finish up at UDC and at Staten Island. And each one of those games is going to have huge consequences for the Knights. 3 in the air is good. Nice tray from the far side.
Yeah, Lindo had a couple of nice buckets early in the game and then had to go to the bench with some foul trouble. First time we've heard from him in a while.
He's their second leading scorer on the season.
Got it back to a 12-point Daemen lead here.
Lindo at 8 points now on the game. Bill with a nice little hesitation, let the defender go by, slam it in, and they're going to whistle him for a tee?
They're going to get him on a technical.
Ah, yeah. They whistled the technical. I didn't hear the whistle, but I saw Benjamin Bill's reaction, and by his reaction, I kind of figured they did that. Now Mike McDonald is not happy.
Let's get a look.
And neither are the fans. I didn't think he was hanging on, Mike. Let's see. No.
Because he slapped the backboard.
Oh, okay. He wasn't hanging on. It was hitting the backboard. So that's the foul will lead to technical free throws for Demiri Lindo, excuse me.
One free throw.
That comes with 9:04 to go here. It's the loudest the fans have been all afternoon.
Yeah.
Lindo hits it. Now we'll go back the other way for possession. In the meantime, it's down to a 13-point game. And Queens has a chance. If they hit a 3 here, it's 10. So, yeah, give the Knights credit. Usually, Daemen is able to break other teams' spirits in the second half, but not the Knights today. They are hanging in there. So, big possession for them. Let's see if they can get a bucket here. Lindo. Backing into the paint. Off the glass, too strong. Rebound to Benjamin Bill. Hemphill going all the way and draws the foul. It is interesting, you made the point earlier, one of the dynamics of this season, because pretty much all their games have been blowouts. Even if you go non-conference, only one team has been within 10 points at the end of the game. That was St. Michael's, 8 points. They're an extremely talented team, but they really haven't been pushed, pressured in the second half of most of their games.
Well, that's why, again, going back to that win at Stack, that's why partly why that was so impressive to me, because they haven't been played like that. And Stack is usually, I've seen so many of those games over the years, usually when Stack gets a lead at home, it's just so hard to come back against them, and they did that, made the plays down the stretch, and then to end up winning by 11 was, it was an incredible defensive effort that they had in the second half. So
Bill and Hemphill both get together for the block, and another. And that's laid up and in. Third tries a charm.
Yep. Huh? Took the words right out of my mouth.
Never give up on a play. Lead once again, 13. As we approach 8 minutes to go. Hemphill going to pop the three. And rebound corralled. Oh, yeah, Hemphill read that pass and an easy slam.
The hammer!
Just a kind of a lazy pass in the backcourt. Hemphill saw it and jumped it. So instead of maybe getting it down to 11 or 10, it's back up to 15. C on the drive. It doesn't drop. Bill has the rebound. Bill the kick out. Becker for three. Got it. Timeout called by Queens. Just like that, it's an 18-point Daemen lead.
Let's get a look at that last Justin Hemphill slam. Yep, steps in, the left-handed hammer. Holy cow, what a play.
We will step aside for a quick break and back
for track championship today. Good luck to the Wildcats.
Figured you were bringing indoor up here, not outdoor.
A little tough to be outdoor track today.
Well, lacrosse is going on, so
yeah, it's true.
C, back to Condi. Here's Chester with it. Obviously now if you're Queens, you got to score on a bunch of possessions. You got to go on some run. Jump shot there makes it a 16-point game. By the way, also congratulations to Justin Hemphill and Benjamin Bill from Daemen. Both of them are now in the top 50 watch list for basically an award that is given to the player of the year in small college basketball. Philip Kuski's three is no good. Becker with the rebound. They were on the top 100. They made it down to the top 50. Pass right down to Justin Hemphill, lays it up and in.
Becker continues to put his stamp all over this game. Picks up an assist there.
And he's got 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. 3 in the air is no good. Philip Kuski with the rebound. Hemphill with the reverse, the backwards layup, if you will.
They have kicked it into another gear.
Yeah, this is what, like, they get on a roll. Mm-hmm. They get stops, they run the floor, they hit quick baskets, and, you're like taking punches if you're the other team. It was funny when I talked to Mike McDonald about the Malloy game Friday night here, and there's a turnover against Daemen. And he said, they didn't play that great in the first half, but then in the second half, we defended, we rebounded, we shared the ball. We basically played Daemen basketball. Like, they did all those things. Daemen is up 20, timeout with 5:38 to go here at Daemen University. Wildcats now in pretty good control. More coming up in a moment on the ECC. Daemen ball as we resume play here in the second half. Howard Simon and Mike Moranto with you here. Now, I know there are former Daemen basketball players that are watching today. Mm-hmm. So I want to share a story. I'll tell it over time here. That Mike McDonald told me the other day as the Wildcats get into the front court. So I asked Mike, 22-0, second in the country. Are you hearing from former players every now and then? And he said, yeah, a ton of them. Guys are texting them. They're checking in. Some of them are showing up at, if they're down in the New York City area, some of them show up at the games down there. Hemphill drew a little bit of a wow on some of the ball handling there. And they're just sending along notes of congratulations and everything. Glover doesn't get the three. And how proud they are of the team. And Mike told me a story about DeMarco Barnes. DeMarco played here. He's now the head coach at SUNY Maritime downstate. There's Glover's three. So he went to the game at Staten Island. And he texted Mike and said after the game, he said, that game made me proud to be an alum. He said it's the best defensive group he's ever seen in blue and white. Unselfishness is off the charts. And Mike read that and said he got really choked up, that it's been great hearing the pride in the former players that they have in this program, what they're doing right now.
Oh, that's phenomenal. I did not realize that DeMarco is the head coach at SUNY Maritime. Knew he was there as an assistant with Mike Birkin, who was the head coach.
Ooh, I thought Becker was going to try it.
Me too, it goes in anyway.
He's laughing.
Yeah, he was an assistant with Burke, Burke was with, as Tynes hits a pull-up J, with Coach Mack here at Daemen, at Medaille before that, and is now the head coach at Buffalo State. So that's pretty cool to hear from DeMarco like that.
Now, the other part of the story is all these former players that text him, they ask him, hey, Coach, could we beat this team? And he tells them all, no, you couldn't. Your teams could not beat this team.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike?
Somebody asked me that the other day. I would like to see this team play the team we had in 2013-14, which was the Daemen's first year as a member of the ECC. Get another fast break here.
Whew, nice finish. Timeout called by Daemen, and they've opened things up. 3:20 to go here in the second half, and Daemen has pulled away 84-57. Mike will finish his story when we get back. All right, we took a break in mid-story, and Mike's going to talk a little bit more about that. Was it 13-14
team? Yeah, the
team?
13-14 team. So that's Daemen's first year in the ECC. We started out 1-3 in league play. Then won 16 straight.
Wow.
And won the league regular season title that year, which is unheard of. You're a team that's transitioning to Division II. We weren't even eligible for the postseason yet. There's a pull-up three that's going to go down.
Yep, three-pointer there for Queens, and that's going to be from Darius Mihai, freshman from Oakland Gardens, New York, who's in.
That team, 13-14, Glover a little bit too long on the pass here. We had a big guy inside, Gerald Beverly, who, of course, went on to have a missed slam. Long overseas career. He was a defensive player of the year.
Ooh. Ouch. Ongro got clipped.
Yeah,
well, he was going to the basket, and that looked like it could have been nasty the way he was headed down.
Yeah, he's up and hopefully okay. Gerald was the two-time defensive player of the year in this league as a 6'7", 6'8" guy. So I think they would have a really good defender to match up against Benjamin Bill inside, right?
That's a part of the formula, yep.
Yeah, and some other really good pieces on that team. Marco Polo running the point. Casey Sheehan, who's top 5 in, I believe, top 5 in scoring here all time. Kadeem Johnson was a great role player for that team. Uche Agbana as well. So I'm missing some guys who are probably going to text me and be mad. But that was just a really good team. And I would. That's my answer. I would like to see that team play against this team. Obviously, it'll never happen, but
pick up after the season.
Yeah.
Get everybody together. Well, this team is 2.5 minutes from going to 23-0 and 14-0 in the conference. Again, they've already clinched first. So Daemen knows they'll get the first round bye, and then they will host the semifinal and final games of the ECC tournament here at Lumsden Gym on March 8th and 9th. First time they will have hosted the conference tournament. They've won the regular season before, right? But it was a different format in terms of rotating sites,
it used to be at a predetermined site, and they made that change a couple years ago, and it's been at Stack, just about every year. So to be able to have the opportunity to have it here, where you said this would be home win number 19 in a row.
Oh. I don't think he wanted to. I feel like he didn't want to slam it in because they're up by 26. So he went for the layup, and it didn't fall. By the way, Mike getting some other guys.
I don't know why he went left-handed.
Yeah.
It's a righty.
Mike getting some guys off the bench. We'll let you know Jackson Kulik is in the game. Number 30 for Daemen, sophomore from Webster, New York. We're seeing number 24, Ronnie Williams, junior from Tampa, getting his first action of the day. And I believe Aiden Harrison is in too, sophomore from Clifton Park, New York. Anyway, minute 44 to go. Last time Daemen won the regular season, the tournament was played in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
And they ended up playing Bridgeport, a lower seeded team, but lost to them on their home court.
Yeah, Bridgeport was the 4 seed, but because of the predetermined nature of the tournament, they were the host that year, and you end up playing a true road game. That was a game with incredible atmosphere. They had a huge crowd.
Ronnie Williams for 3, and the bench is going to give him a big round of applause. So Queens will head home from Western New York, dropping a pair of games to D'Youville and to Daemen. But they should still be in one of the top 6 spots. For the time being, they'll fall into a 3-way tie with Staten Island and Mercy at 5 and 7. D'Youville's 5 and 8. They're playing right now against Malloy. And for Daemen, get a little time off. Only 2 games left. Actually, they only play 2 games in the next 2 weeks. February 22nd at D'Youville, and then they'll close out the regular season here on March 1st against Roberts Wesley. And so there's that school of thought of you're in a groove, you don't want to have too much downtime, but it's not a bad idea to getting these guys a little bit of a break before what you hope is a long tournament run, NCAA run.
And no long trips in there either. The lone road game just across town at D'Youville. So Aiden Harrison gets fouled, going to go to the line. We should mention, you mentioned it earlier, Andrew Mason did indeed hit his 306th career 3-point field goal. He's made a couple more after that too, so he's actually, what's he got, 307? Or 307, 2 more, right? I believe.
Yeah.
So, moved into the top 5 all-time in ECC history and on the made 3-point field goal list. So
he should set the Daemen record. He's
got a chance.
You got 2 regular season games after this. You hope 2 ECC tournament games, and then NCAA tournament games after that. So Mason's got a good chance to set the all-time threes record here. Probably not going to get to number 1 in the ECC record. That one an air ball from Harrison. He can laugh about it. Mike McDonald on the bench looks at him, both hands out to the sides, going, huh? But he's laughing about it. You can when you're up 35. Right. So this was a good game for about 3/4 of it, and then it just kind of got away from Queens after that. And there's a jam for Mihai. Nice round of applause from his teammates on the Queens bench. There's a foul. So we'll have some free throws here for Ronnie Williams. Mike McDonald will get career win number 484 today. Creeping a little closer to that magic 500 mark.
500, yep.
Won't happen this season. It'll have to happen next season. $227 of those wins here at Daemen. The rest coming at Madai and Canisius. Queens is not going to take a final shot. They're going to let the shot clock, the game clock, run out. Another big win for Daemen. The Wildcats stay unbeaten and should, in a couple days, be the number 1 team in the country in Division II. Mike, final thoughts?
I mean, it's a little bit surreal to think about, to be honest, but they turned it into another gear there in the second half. Benjamin Bill ends up with 19 and 10 to go with 3 blocks. What else? Hemphill,
5 guys, 6 guys in double figures.
14 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals. Becker, 13 points, 8 boards, 7 assists. Great all-around game from the Wildcats.
So Daemen ups their record to 23-0, 14-0 in conference play, 12-0 at home with 2 games left in the regular season schedule. For Mike Moranto, my name is Howard Simon. Thank you for joining us. A very pleasant good afternoon to you.